Hi you guys, so we're gonna do a story time today because it's been a minute since we did a story time, and because my upload schedule has been so inconsistent, there's a lot to catch you guys up on with my life, so why not do it today and let me spill some tea. This was probably back in like April, May, somewhere around there. You hear about in movies of guys standing up girls or vice versa, and you don't really think that it can happen in real life, because it's just like, who raised you, you know? Like, who taught you that it was okay to waste someone's time and stand them up? But y'all, it happened to me. Because apparently God was like, yes, you are destined to tell the people and entertain them with your life story. So I need to make your life as similar to a sim as possible. Sometimes I literally feel like I'm like a sim and God is like the kid on the computer, like, let's make them woohoo, let's make them die in a pool. Okay, so what happened was, I was leaving Body Factory, which is a smoothie place that I used to go to all the time. And as I was leaving, I see this cute guy and we make eye contact, and I smiled. He smiled back and he was like, I was like, hi. And he was like, hey, but I just like kept walking to the elevator. And so as I was walking to the elevator, you can like see in the reflection, like if someone's behind you. So like I saw that he was about to come up to me, so I was like, and so he came up to me and he was like, hey, like I couldn't meet you and not get to know you a little bit more, exchange numbers or like whatever. He wasn't like douchey or like gross. He was so sweet, and he seemed actually like super nervous, which I was like, oh, like that's sweet, like whatever, like I'll talk, like I will talk to pretty much anybody. Like,
why the fuck you lying?
Not in the sense that like I'll give anybody my number, but I'm not someone who's gonna be like, ugh, like how dare you, like who do you think you're talking, like you're a person, I'm gonna talk to you, like it's fine. Even if my intention is not that I'm gonna give you my number or pursue anything with you, I'm gonna at least be a human, have the decency to have a conversation. Not that you have to, but like, my point. So. We got into the elevator and he was like talking, and we rode down to my level. And then he was like, wow, like I didn't expect you to like stop and talk to me, whatever. And he was like sweating, you guys, at this point. There was like beads of little droplets on his head. And he was like, so like, what are you doing for the rest of the day? And I was like, oh, I'm just like running some errands, like yada, yada, yada. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, and I was like, I already knew that I found him attractive and then I was going to give him my number anyway. So I was like, let me just put this man out of his misery. And so I was like, oh, do you want my number? And then he was like, oh my God, like, yeah, thanks. So sweet, like literally so freaking sweet. So we exchanged numbers, and then later on he texted me later that day with you guys, literally like the sweetest freaking message. He was like, Miss Drew. Whatever, it was like, it sounds like that's a lot, and it was like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, that was kind of a lot. But it was just like very, in a non-creepy way, in a non-crazy way, it was very sweet. I'm not explaining that correctly, but it was in a very nice and surprising, unexpected, not common way. So I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then like I showed my friends and everything, and they were like, wow, Drew, like this is different for you, because as you guys may or may not know, I have the tendency to like fuckboys. And so he was like, seemed like the opposite of that. So I was like, let me just give this guy a try. My instant reaction was like, yeah, he's cute, but he's not really my type. Like he was wearing a button up and looked like he had his life together.
You know what that is? Growth.
Obviously, I'm not gonna mention full names because privacy, but let's just say that his name was Sherman. So like, first of all, that's rude as for his parents to name him Sherman, but like also like you can just imagine like the kind of nerdy sweetness that goes along with that. No offense if your name is Sherman, I'm sorry if it is, but He like went by his middle name, which was like a more like exotic name that was cool, which I understood why he went by the name, which I will omit for the sake of his privacy, whatever. So then we were like texting back and forth for like 2 weeks, and he was like being very sweet, just like shooting the breeze about life stuff and like interests in TV shows and like I will say though, call me old-fashioned, but I'm someone, if I just met you and I want to like get to know you, I prefer to talk on the phone. I know that sounds weird because I'm a millennial, I'm 24 years old, and you would think I'm like one of the texters, but like texting's fine, but you can't really like get to know someone on a specific level if you're just texting them, because you can't hear their tone of voice and the cadence in their voice and with their sense of humor, and I don't know, you just get more familiar with someone when you talk on the phone. Anyway, so we were texting for 2 weeks, and I was kind of like, okay, like I guess he's not gonna ask me out. I'm also old-fashioned in the way that I'm not the biggest fan of asking guys out, which I totally think that women should feel free and feel empowered to do so. But in this case, I was like, I don't want to ask him out. I want him to ask me out. So, like eventually I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna like stop. I kind of like stopped being as responsive. Like I would still respond to him, not to ghost him. I would just kind of keep my answers short, and I think he realized that. And so he finally, after 2 weeks, asked me out, and he asked me to breakfast, which was different. And at first I dogged him out. Like I was texting my friends and I was like, yeah, he asked me to breakfast. And they were like, Drew, Jackie in particular was like, Drew, like, do you want to keep dating fuckboys? Like maybe just give this guy a chance. Like it's something different, like whatever. And I was like, you're right.
Growth.
And mind you, when he asked, and I'm only saying this because it's important for the rest of the story, when he asked me to breakfast, he made the plans. He was like, let's go to this place downtown called The Pantry. I think you'll really like it. Let's meet at 10:30. That's not too early for you. And I was like, that sounds great, cool. And then he was like, so excited to see you, like blah, blah, blah. Went on this whole thing, sent one of those like little things, those animation things in the text messages that make like fireworks go off and shit. So, long story short, the boy was excited. Saturday morning comes and I wake up at 8 a.m. because in order for me to get ready and for me to drive downtown, if you live in LA and you do not live downtown, you know that getting to downtown is a whole situation. And I usually like to be like 10 minutes early for a date, just like, I don't know, I don't want to be late and like think I'm standing them up, whatever. So I get there at like 10:20, and if you've ever been to The Pantry downtown, it's a popular spot. It's been there for a while, so there's always a line outside. So I was in a line, not sweating it at all. Like it wasn't even 10:30 yet. Even when it became 10:30, I was like still, I feel like you get like a 10-minute grace period in LA because of like traffic and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm not tripping. And then like 10:45 came, and we were supposed to be at 10:30, and I was like, okay, well, he hasn't like said anything, hasn't texted me or like on my way like or anything. So I was like, let me just text him. So I was like, hey, like just got here. Just basically all I said. I was like, yeah, I'm here, whatever. And then no response, and I was like, okay, like whatever. Maybe he's driving, he doesn't want to look at his phone. I get that, I don't look at my phone when I drive, whatever. So then I'm in this line, and 10:50 comes, and then 10:55 comes, and then 11 o'clock comes. I'm in this line, I'm at the front of the line at this point, and I'm in the restaurant, and they're like, hey, like, is your party ready to be seated? And I was like, I'm waiting for someone, I'm not sure if he's coming, and then they were like, so I text my friend Janae, and I'm like, dude's not here, and he hasn't responded to my texts. I haven't heard from him all morning, like, he died. Then I shoot him a text, and I'm like, hey, it's 11, I waited 30 minutes, but I think I'm gonna take off. Then, to add the cherry on top of a great story, I get to the parking lot that I parked my car in, which was across the street from the restaurant, and I had to pay $20 for parking because I didn't get validation from the restaurant because I didn't eat there, because Mr. Sharman decided to stamp me up. So, I would imagine that I was a little upset, okay? And, but at the same time, I was like, oh my God, like what could have happened to him? Like what horrible thing probably happened to him to just not text, not call, not show up? I was like, he died. So then I went back and I was talking to my roommates, and I was like, y'all, like I feel bad for him. I wasn't even upset at that point. I was genuinely concerned about his safety. And so then like a few days goes by, right? Me thinking R.I.P. Sherman. But then the crazy in me went to go check, you know, that little section on Instagram where you can like see who's liked your photos, but then if you swipe on over, you can see what the people you follow have liked. So I saw little Sherman's name showing that he was alive on Instagram about 30 minutes ago. So I was like, oh, there is breath in his lungs. So what do? I pick up the phone, did not text, and I call him because I want to know if he's okay. So I call him, and this is how he answered the phone. You know, I honestly didn't expect to hear from you. And I'm like, I'm sorry? I was like, is everything okay? And he goes, yeah, everything's fine. He's like, man, I didn't even think to call or text you because I honestly thought you would never talk to me again. And I was like, okay, dude, like what happened? And he was like, man, you want me to be honest with you? And I was like, yep, that'd be great, right about now. And he was like, Drew, to be completely honest with you, I was broke and I was too embarrassed to tell you that I couldn't afford to take you to breakfast. Well, how about just not ask me to breakfast, Sherman? You guys, I can't explain. Let me just say this first. I was so nice and calm on the phone. Not once did I raise my voice. Not once did I reprimand him. Not once did I make him feel lesser than. I simply explained to him, I said, Sherman, even if you didn't want to be transparent with me, because I get it, like whatever, maybe you feel emasculated to admit that you couldn't afford to take me out, whatever. But I was like, at the end of the day, I'm so not a girl who cares about money at all. So I was like, first of all, we could have done something for free. Or you could have just made up any excuse to stop me from waking up at 8 a.m., driving downtown, waiting in a line for 30 minutes, and then paying $20 for parking. And as I was explaining this, it almost felt like I was explaining something to a child, because to me, logically, it all seemed so simple. And so, maybe because I was raised a certain way, but I just assume everyone was raised in, and you don't just let someone, like, it's just disrespectful to stand someone up like that. There's just so many things that could have been, like, he could have said anything, any excuse. My cat is injured.
I'm sick.
My car is not starting.
I'm Hannah Montana.
I got a flat tire.
I shrunk the kids.
My mom needs me to pick up her dry cleaning.
I'm not going.
Anything, Sherman, anything to just prevent me from driving down there. And then you're gonna see my text messages come through saying that I'm there at 10:30, saying that I've waited for 30 minutes, I'm gonna take off at 11, and then still just being like, oh, she waited for me. She's never gonna talk to me again because I'm sure she's mad. No shit, Sherman. You guys, I can't. It's laughable at this point because I can't fathom what someone like that mind does. So anyway, I was like, Sherman, next time you ask a woman out, and I mean another woman because it's not gonna be me, maybe just make sure to give her a heads up if you're not gonna make it somewhere, or you know, just either be transparent with her, which I would have appreciated, or don't ask her to breakfast. You can't afford it. I don't know, like. Anyway, so hung up the phone. In a very polite way, I explained to him that we're not going to work out, obviously. So then, y'all, a week goes by, okay? A week. Sherman texts me again. And you know the little meme with the person, the cartoon looking out the window? He sends me that meme along with Norah Jones's "Don't Know Why I Didn't Come."
I don't know why I didn't come.
You guys, I can't make this shit up, okay? I can't make this shit up. He sent me Norah Jones's "Don't Know Why I Didn't Come" with a fucking meme, okay? there's nothing to say. But you know what I said? I said, lose my number, Sherman. Lose it. Lose the number. And he just was like, he sent me the emojis of like a little guy like walking out of a door. Walking and then the door. I weep for this generation. I weep for us. Because is this a standard of dating? Like, do people think this is okay? Please let me know in the comment section below if you think I'm overreacting by getting upset for being stood up in such a manner and then being texted later on with a meme with a song of Norah Jones's Don't Know Why I Didn't Come. You guys, I will, if I can give any words of wisdom, I don't know, any words at the end of this, it would be to just treat people with respect and just common decency, you know, and just don't be crazy. I don't know. Just too much. With all that being said, that chapter with Sherman has obviously closed and will never be opened again. But since then, I've moved on, and my current situation is another hot mess, but I'm happy? I don't know. It's complicated, but maybe one day I'll tell you guys that story. Who knows? But you guys, if you enjoyed this story time, please let me know in the comment section below and give this story a thumbs up, this video a thumbs up. Also, if you like to hang out with me in between videos, you can follow me at my handles that are right here. And you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. And if I'm not, I'll be sure to send you a text or a message to let you know I won't be here.
I don't know why I didn't